Welcome to the Don't Blink Jiu Jitsu podcast. I'm your host Israel, and today we are reacting to UFC 267, which by all means was a great card, right? For me, it's Dillon and Orrin, guys. I hope you've had time to think about that fight card and marinate all the awesomeness that was UFC 267.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be on the show. We haven't had one in a while because we haven't had a UFC numbered event in a while. But yeah,
right.
The prelims. First fight I want to talk about is Americana versus Murphy. I had actually picked Americana to win, and the way the first round went, it looked like I made the right pick because Americana was using his wrestling and he was dominating Murphy for almost that entire first round. But when the second round came around, that is when he telegraphed his shot. He gave two feints, two of the same exact feints, and the third time he did the same exact move and actually went in for the takedown, and he got hit with a well-timed knee by Murphy, out cold, lights out.
Yeah.
So it's tough. You know, Americana should have employed better decision making in that one. After those two feints, he should have maybe circled a little bit, reset, tried to maybe throw some jabs. Then level changed, but he just did the same thing twice, and on the third time, got caught.
Yeah. I fully agree with you,
Fight IQ, right? The fight IQ.
Yeah, fight IQ. It's one of those things where you know what a guy is going to do, and 90% of the time he gets what he's going to do, I mean, a wrestler usually gets that takedown. Like Orrin said, though, telegraphing it so much, he should have reset and did something different to throw off what he's doing, or the timing at least. He gave Murphy enough reads to know, okay, well, it's coming. Let me prepare to do what I got to do,
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not something that happens every time, 90% of the time, I think he would get that takedown.
Yeah. It reminded me of Ben Askren versus Masvidal recently, of Blades versus Lewis, of
correct. That
Romero
one,
versus Weidman. When you just blindly go in for the takedown like that. Yeah.
And Murphy is a talent. He's undefeated. This is, I think, his second fight in a row where he has a KO, and he's been doing great. He's from the UK. So Murphy's probably the next UK talent coming out of England. He's undefeated. I think he needs to work a little bit on the grappling because Americana did hold him down and control him for the first round. But he used his fight IQ, as you guys pointed out, and was able to overcome. So that was a great fight. That was a highlight fight, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he got a performance bonus, but it was a good fight.
Next, I would like to talk about Reeboks versus Janjidorba. The walkout for Reeboks, I did not like. She was too serious. That's not the Reeboks that I know.
That we know.
Until after she won, then she lightened up. That bubbly, laughing, smiling Amanda Reeboks. That's half of the reason why the UFC fans love her. The other half is she can fight and she wins fights. But half of it is her personality that we love, But I'm thankful that after she won and the business was finished, then she was back to being her fun-loving, smiling, laughing self. And I especially liked how she greeted the Abu Dhabi audience in their native language. She said "Assalamu alaikum" to them, peace be upon you to the Abu Dhabi people. That was good. That got a response from them.
Yeah. She's likable, she's a star. But Orrin, sometimes you have to get serious. It was her last fight. Again, she lost against Marina Rodriguez, right?
Correct.
She got KO'd. So
Marina is no joke.
She said,
Marina just recently beat Mackenzie Dern as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So definitely, I think it was a good fight. I caught, the first portion of it, and they were doing good grappling. Janjidorba is a very, very good grappler, but she seems to have run out of steam in that second round.
Yeah. That was strange because she looked really good the first round, and then the second round came out and she was a different fighter.
Yeah,
she really did. I don't know if she came out I think cardio is a part of it, but I think she expected Reeboks to be less forward focused in that second round. I think she she thought she gained the upper leg in that first round, but Reeboks came out really good. She came out like she just forgot about that first round, and she came out fresh and ready to go. Because it's weird because she just did not look like the same fighter either. So it could be the gas tank, but I also think it has a lot to do with the mindset. Like she had that mindset that, okay, well, I'm in the lead of this thing, and Reeboks had none of it.
Yeah. Amanda was all business. Right. She was very serious.
All right, guys. Well, that was the prelims.
Wait, one more thing. We have to talk about one more serious thing. The serious,
I was just going to bring that up.
Inadequate performance of one of the referees.
Yeah, in the Dos Santos
versus Saint-Denis.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
That fight should have been stopped in the second round. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, the referee was sanctioned, if you want to call it that, because he was removed from the Ozdemir fight, which was the first fight in the main card. Right, so he was removed, so they did the right thing by that, but that referee should not be refereeing anymore. And I'm hearing that he's scheduled to referee Gaethje versus Chandler. So I don't know.
No, he got suspended.
He got suspended. Okay, then.
Yeah, he got suspended. He got suspended. Nah, I don't think the UFC will see him again. He's probably on that short list of referees who can't refer again. It was horrible, man, and it was bad.
He did two bad things in my view. One, he should have stopped the fight in the second round. And second, when he took away a point from Dos Santos in the third round without even a warning, all right? That was...
But he also... another big thing that he did was when Saint Germain...
he said he couldn't see.
Poked in the eye. I can't see. And he was like...
He didn't stop the fight.
He didn't call in. No, he should have at least called in the doctor. He definitely showed inexperience and lack of any bit of knowledge of what he was doing.
Treating.
I could have done a better job. Yeah, I could have done a better job. Easily.
Everybody likes to say that.
Well, guys, it's not an easy job. I can tell you that, even in certain cases where we had refereeing issues here locally, I was saying, oh, why didn't he stop the fight? Didn't he stop the fight? And then when I went back and I watched the fight, I was, so refereeing is a hard job. It needs to be done by guys that are trained. It needs to be done, professionally. Unfortunately, he was not, I don't even remember his name, but he was not professional that night, and he suffered the consequences. You guys were arguing about whether it was reminiscent of, what's his name?
Yamasaki and Masakati.
Yamasaki. I don't know, but if it's in that realm, right? But I think in this case, it was a little bit more... immediate. The effect was immediate, right? Because he got removed from the next fight. So
yes, correct.
I think what the UFC did was good.
Yes.
in that aspect.
I think that's a good step the UFC is taking to deal more immediately with terrible refereeing.
Yeah. No, remember, this is in Abu Dhabi, right? So there's not really a sanctioning body per se. So what they do is they use the Las Vegas. What's it called? The commission, the Las Vegas commission. So in essence, the UFC is regulating themselves. So that's one issue there. So the second issue is that they're using local referees in this case, like we pointed out, right? So that was what happened there.
All right.
Yeah, because there was another outside referee that didn't do bad. I don't remember his name. Okay. He did fine. But this guy definitely did not look like he belonged at all.
Right. All right. Just the most recent in referee mishaps, I guess. It happens.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the game. All right. Moving on from the prelims, unless you guys have any other thing to cover here, but I think we've covered, the major fights. The main card, man. The main card was good. As expected, we had a couple losers there. Ankalev and Ozdemir. It was still a good fight, right? But a little bit slow paced, you could say. Right. Ozdemir, I don't know what you guys think, but Ozdemir seems a little bit slower than usual.
I think Ozdemir is on his way down. I think he peaked when he fought against DC for the title. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, I think he needs to rebuild. I think it's a confidence thing because you could see it that he started the first round pretty well, and then he got tagged a few times. And even DC mentioned it a few times last night. It's like he was very gun shy. Like he would start a punch, then just don't do anything. He would just hold it back, you know. So I think his confidence is in his head. His mind is not where it needs to be. He should probably take a break and figure that shit out, because you know it's no place to not be all there when you're in a fight, and that's what happened to him. And like I said, I mean, the other guy, he did exactly what he needed to be. I mean, we know No Time is legendary for his knockout power, you know. He hasn't knocked out anyone for a while, I think, but that's what he's known for. So, I mean, you don't go in there reckless and be
He's on a
crazy,
3-fight
because
losing streak, if I'm not mistaken now.
Whom? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's a 2-fight losing streak. I think he won. Yeah, let me confirm that though. Yeah.
2 or 3 fights. Well, I'm pretty positive that he's on a losing streak.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-time though.
All right, guys. So the story of the night, I mean, and the story that we can't miss, right? The Leech versus Chimaev, the Wolf, right? I mean, I guess everybody was looking forward to that fight, and boy, did that fight deliver. Or should we say, did Chimaev deliver, right? Because the question on everybody's mind was whether COVID affected him, right? Because he was out, he had a bad case of COVID, and we were saying, how will that play into his cardio, right? But he came and he proved everybody wrong, I guess you could say.
Wait, just before we continue, confirming it's a 2-fight losing streak. He lost to Yuri, and then he lost last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was a bad KO loss to Prohaska, though. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. Not to cut you off, but I really want to get your reactions to the Lee versus Khamzat fight. That was the one of the performances of the night. You know, I really wanted to see him go into the second round to see how that cardio would hold up, right? Especially after, you know, issues he had. But your thoughts, Dillon?
I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a great fight. I also had that concern. I still have that concern that how he looked in the second round. He did a lot in that fight to shut a lot of people up, I think. But I think he did sound a little bit gritty in the interview. I think I don't know if it's lasting effects from COVID, but it definitely leaves me wanting to see him pushed in a 3-round fight. I want to see how he looks in a 3rd round, not even a 2nd round. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, he's talking about fighting for a belt, but you're not going to get Usman out of there in a 1st round. There's no way I can see that happening, you know? The guy's an amazing fighter. He's an amazing wrestler. So it's going to be a drawn-out fight. And nothing's worse than having a good fighter who's good in the 1st round, and then you get to a situation where they're fighting for a belt or drawn out to a 3rd round and they just look like shit. And that's my concern. Is
he the real deal, though? That's the question. Is he the real deal?
He can be. I think he really can be. He's excellent. His fighting, his style. He has decent stand-up from what we've seen so far. But his wrestling, man, damn. What I like about his wrestling is it's not one of those wrestlers who will wrestle you for like 2 or 3 rounds, then get a finish. He goes for that finish right away. And that's what I like to see in a ground game. I like someone who goes there to finish the fight, you know. It's not just control and not scoring
he even
points.
He even had the guy Lee up in the air for a while, and he took him to Dana White card. Dana White was on his phone and he said, "Hey, Dana, get off your phone. You have to watch this." You know, so that's some incredible stuff to be able to have that, you know, frame of mind while you're, you know, picking up 170-pound guy. You know, it takes a lot. Orrin, your thoughts on the Wolf?
Let me see. I think he needs to be a little bit careful with his takedowns, though, because his takedown last night of Lee, when he shot in, it was quick, but it was predictable. Right? It wasn't telegraphed. It was very, very quick, but predictable. I think he has to be careful with that, because if he gets the right opponent, he might run into a knee that could be seriously doing some damage and test his chin. Right? Dillon is
right, but you see what happens with
he sees what I'm saying. It's possible, right, Dillon? You agree that much that it's possible.
Of course,
right?
Anything is possible.
What's happening with these guys is that they have what you call chin wrestling. You see from all these Dagestani guys, right? You saw that from Khabib, you saw that from Islam. All they need to do is get one hold.
Correct,
even if it's an ankle pick, whatever it is, they just need to get one hold and they will chin that wrestling together. So I get your point, Orrin, but I think his fight IQ is a little bit higher than what we saw with what was his name, Americana versus Murphy. Okay. So I don't see that happening. I think this guy set up his takedown pretty well, even though, yes, you're right, he just shot in, it was predictable, but he wasn't expecting to get that. He did that to get in range so that he can chain his wrestling together.
But here's the thing as well, you have to look at that on both sides because it's predictable, yes. The leech expected it, but he did nothing to stop it.
He couldn't stop it.
He did.
And that's the issue with these guys, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we see with Khabib, with Islam.
Correct. My only thing with him, and my only wish, is if he would pick a division. He's fighting between divisions, and he's doing it very fast, and it's a bit crazy, you know. Like, I wish he'd pick a division, stick to that division, and, you know, if he's gonna go through the division, tear through the division, whatever, do it. But pick a division, you know. Fighting the two divisions is a bit kind of crazy.
Hey,
yeah.
You wanna want McGregor to be 2-division champ? Why not this guy? Huh? Why are you hating on?
I didn't say you can be, but take one division, do what you're doing in one division, then move up. You know, win the belt. And even if you do what Conor did, win the belt and move up to the next division right afterwards, the difference is, you know, you're fighting in that division, you're proving a point. Because him being in both divisions, it's cool. Everything is good, but then it's kind of crazy at the same time, you know?
Yeah. Who do you see? Actually, Orrin, let me go back. The question is, we don't have consensus. Is he the real deal or not? What's your opinion?
So far, he seems to be the real deal. My issue with him is that so far, out of his 4 fights in the UFC, he's had 2 guys that are respectable names and 2 you don't know who they are. His first 2, you don't even remember who those 2 guys were. He had a real good 17-second KO of Gerald Meerschaert in his 3rd fight. And, you know, equally as impressive, this last fight against Lee. So, yeah, I give him respect. Those are 2 good, solid guys that he dispatched off quite easily.
Okay, my question for you. Who does he need to fight next that will impress you to the point where you give him credit?
All right. If he can beat Leon Edwards, then I'll say he's definitely the real deal, and he's the next division champ.
But we're not going to get that
about
fight.
Fighting Nate Diaz, though. Well, and I can see that fight happening. You know why? Because the UFC wants to, you know, in a way, kick out Nate Diaz because it's his last fight on his contract. You know, they wanna if he doesn't sign, they'll give him somebody like Khamzat, they'll give him Islam, they'll give him something crazy like that. All right, guys. So yeah, I want to move on with the rest of the card. I mean, obviously that was a good moment on the card, but we had other great moments on the card. The Volkov versus Tabura fight, it was a normal heavyweight fight. You know, nothing really to write home.
It was a boring fight,
right? Yeah, I know Volkov was going to win with his range management by decision. You know, so that's the story of that fight. But Makhachev versus Hooker, you know, was the other big highlight of the night, right? Because everybody expected Hooker to go in there and give
him a better fight than what happened. No? My dream fight, you know, would be Makhachev versus Chimaev. Too bad they are a weight class apart, but they are 2 beast wrestlers. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know who to pick between.
But they're both from, if I'm not mistaken, they're both Dagestani, right? Originally, even though Chimaev is
Sweden
from
right now.
Switzerland, I think. Sweden or but he's originally from that region as well, right?
No, I don't think he is.
No,
I think he's in a different area. I don't think he's from Dagestan.
Okay.
But so I was gonna say we might not see that fight happen, but
those 2 guys, Chimaev in his fight against Lee and Makhachev in his fight against Hooker, just total domination.
Yep, same thing. Yep. You know, he went for the takedown right away. But he actually set up his takedown a little bit better, if you ask me. right? Because I think he made he made Hooker miss, and then he went under for the double leg, brought him down quite easily because Hooker was off balance, and then Hooker made a mistake. He crawled back to the cage, right? In normal circumstances, against other guys, other grapples, you want to do that, but against these guys from Dagestani, Khabib, these guys, they use the cage to their advantage, right? So he actually pinned him down with the Dagestani handcuffs. He used his legs to get him the perfect position he wanted, mounted him. From there, he had side controls, and actually was half guard, and he was looking for the Kimura. And actually, if you saw that fight closely, you'll see that Khabib is giving him the instructions from off the edge. So he was telling him, go for that arm. He went for that arm. He got the Kimura. You could hear Dan Hooker, he was in pain, obviously. And that was the story of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful sub, man. It was really and truly a beautiful submission. I haven't seen a Kimura finish in a while, but I enjoy seeing those finishes. You used to see them back in the days more often. But that's again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I enjoy seeing grapplers grapple to get that finish, to get that finish quick, to get it out there. Not just point scoring. There's a lot of wrestlers in the UFC who are more point scorers. They'll get you down and hold you down for a few rounds. But I enjoy watching that transition. It was beautiful.
All right, Orrin, your thoughts on that fight? I mean, we all know at this point, Islam is the real deal. He's in the top 5, I think. 5. Probably even top 3. Does he fight for the title next, or is it the winner of Justin versus Chandler?
I think he has a good argument when he says, Chandler has fought for the title already. Gaethje has fought for the title already. I think because he's now ranked number 5, I think, right? 5 or 6.
Yeah,
he's 5. I think.
5.
He might go up, right?
He has a 9-fight winning streak. He deserves it. I totally agree with him. His argument is right on point.
Well, all right. I'll contradict you right here because it depends. I think it depends how next week event goes. If Chandler wins, Islam should get a title shot. If Gaethje wins, then it's a bit different because, yes, both of them have fought for the belt before, but the difference is Chandler has lost to the current champ. Gaethje lost to the past champ. You can't hit a guy. Yeah, correct. You can't hit a guy for losing to someone, another champion. This is a different person. I mean, who's to say that Justin can't beat Oliveira, So it doesn't. I don't think that really matters. Only way
can he beat Islam is the question. Who is in that division that can beat Islam?
And here's the thing, and we're talking about it, but also I guess it depends on who wins between Oliveira and Poirier. Because if Justin Gaethje wins, then you can say okay, but Dustin, if Dustin wins and Justin wins, we've seen that fight already,
right?
So then Islam could say Islam is in a good place because he's not fought any of the guys before. You're looking at 2 people fighting for the belt that he hasn't fought. So he has a good argument to say, listen, I'm here, I'm fresh, I'm someone different. Do we need to see these fights again? Because Justin lost to Dustin and Chandler lost to Oliveira. So, it's a tricky thing. It needs a lot to line up, I guess, but he should.
And we have to give credit where credit is due, guys, because Dan Hooker took that fight on a short notice. He didn't fly back to his country. He was in quarantine. He couldn't go back. He had to stay. And he made a decent paycheck. So the guy did well for himself, so there's no use crying over spilled milk. He did great. He's a great fighter, and we'll see him back, right? It was a great fight. I want to move on to the next fight because this one's the fight of the night. It was the fight of the night. Jan versus Sandhagen. They did get that fight of the night bonus. It was a great fight, from the beginning. Sandhagen came out. You could see that he came out with a plan, right? He was fast. He was accurate. He definitely won round 1 on my scorecard, and I think on the judges' scorecard he won round 1. Round 2 was very close, but round 3 is where Jan started coming back and started taking over. He wrapped him with one big shot. I believe it was either in round 3 or 4, and then the tides changed. and then he just took over. And I mean, Jan is a different beast, man. Jan is probably the best in that division right now. If I'm being real, Sanhagen was a close second, but we saw what happened.
All right, and
what are your
the disrespect continues from all of you guys. Totally disrespecting the champ. You and Dana White, all of you disrespecting the champ.
Can we get this guy from the show?
Yeah, there's no.
I'm retiring.
There's no champ other than Jan in that division, and
correct,
we all know that.
Correct. Come on, man.
The disrespect is so blatant. Now, but seriously though, even Dana White at the post-fight press conference said Jan is the champion now, and he'll do that rematch with Aljamain. They even refer to Aljamain as the champ.
No, he's not. Come on, man. Come on. Let's be real. Like I said already, and I said so many times, the UFC needs to fix that rule because it's so stupid if someone can win a championship off of disqualifications. You got your butt kicked for 4 rounds, and you want to
a regular fight off a DQ, but you don't want him to win the championship off a DQ. So they'll have a win.
You could win it,
but not the belt. So explain.
Yes, you can win the fight. Well, they should have something where if a situation like that happens, the champ is stripped. You won the fight, but the champ is stripped of the belt. There's a vacant belt. How can you win a championship by losing?
So you want it to be like if a guy doesn't make weight and he wins the fight, he doesn't win the belt. You want it to be
correct, something like that. Have the belt vacated. I mean, sure, you lost the fight, you lost the belt, but how can you win? How can you realistically say you won a fight, a championship by losing a fight? Because he lost that fight. Everyone knows he lost that fight.
Yeah,
I think he gamed the system. I mean, if I'm being honest, he gamed the system. He's the champion. Matters be, the guy is out. You know, he has a pretty bad injury. He has to recover. Whether we will see a different fight or not, that's up in the air. But Jan is the true champion in my eyes.
In everybody's eyes.
And he's the best fighter in that division. And
he is. He beat Aldo. He beat Faber. He beat Sanhagen. He beat the guy who is officially the champ, but not really the champ. I couldn't remember his name right now. He beat everybody.
Listen, the only fight to make, and a real fight. I mean, honestly, my hope is that Aljo says he needs a ridiculous amount of time, and Dana just says, "Listen, you're stripped of the belt," and we get Jan and TJ. I want to see that fight. I believe Jan wins that fight. Yeah, I believe Jan wins that fight. But I just want to see that fight because TJ has had a lot to say about, I never lost the belt, blah, blah, blah. So I want to see that fight, you know?
Yep. What I liked from Jan was that, man, he was very calculating in the first round. It's not that he lost the first round per se. I mean, yes, he lost the first round, but he was measuring. He was taking calculations in his mind. You could see at the end of the second round, he started coming on a little bit stronger, even though it was a close round. But you could see that as the fight went on in the third round, he just turned.
He got comfortable.
You know what?
He figured out everything, and he was just flowing.
Mm-hmm. You know what I really like about Jan, though? Jan's boxing is the best. Maybe second best Max Holloway in the UFC. Jan, whenever he throws, he always has his hands back to protect himself. He never lets his hand go down low. He's always ready to protect himself. Whenever he throws a hand, the other hand is there. Perfect boxing technique.
Yep.
Not
to take away from Corey Sanhagen's striking, because Corey has beautiful striking, and he was, on point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jan was just on another level.
The thing that made the difference was that Jan was much more precise. He had I'm sure I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm pretty sure his percentage was much higher. He was much more accurate. When he throws, he makes sure he catches. Even when Sanhagen landed on him, they were on his gloves mostly. Rarely did he land flush on Jan.
Corey did a good job. Let me tell you something, and that's the kind of fight. It's so hard to watch because you can't. It's hard to have a loser in a fight like that. To be honest with you, because Corey did an amazing job. I mean, he did great against Jan. He knows Jan uses that high guard when he defends. He did really good to the body. He attacked early on to that body. he kind of eased off it in the later rounds. He should have continued. But I think what DC said last night was Jan beat the best version of Corey Sandhagen, which is crazy because that kid is mad talent. He's really talented, and without Jan being in the division, I think he would be champ. But it sucks because he's just, like you said, the number 2. He's really, really good, but just not as good as Jan.
He is the DC to John Jones.
We don't talk about John Jones in this group. John Jones is
all right, guys.
I'm not
it's
gonna get
time
started.
for the main event and the story of the night. Fairy tales come true, and that's what happened.
It does.
John Blachowicz versus Teixeira, Glover Teixeira. Man, it was 42, 43 years. He's
42,
one of the older guys.
Just turned 42.
If not the oldest guy that has won the championship, right? Second oldest.
Correct.
Okay, right. And this guy, I mean, I read a story on Bloody Elbow recently about him. Everything he had to go through. He came to the US illegally, until he could figure out his situation out. He had to go back to Brazil. He fought everybody in the Brazilian MMA circuit until he could get his visa and get back to the US. And when he came back to the US, he went straight to the UFC. And we know the story. He's been up, he's been down. He fought John Jones for the title. He lost, but he didn't give up. He came back and he was beating guys. He's on six now. Six now.
Correct.
6 now. He beat a lot of good guys. Anthony Smith. He beat Thiago Santos. He beat all the guys up to the point where he had to be the next one to compete for the title, and he wasn't denied. I mean, it was a good fight. Jan, I think he came good. He was hitting him with power, with combinations and so on, but he just looked a little bit slow, and Glover took him down, controlled him for the first round, but in the second round, he rocked him with that big counter left hook that he likes, right? That's one of his signature strikes, and from there, it was all she wrote, as they say, because he took him down, just past his guard, mounted him. He gave out his back, and in my opinion, not to take away anything from Jan, but he tapped a little bit quick. I don't know what you guys think. I think
a little bit.
He felt
I agree. Off. Because before it was under the neck, it was like still on the chin. He was tapping.
No, it was under the neck. It was on the neck. But the thing is, with it, you have to understand something, right? And this is where experience comes in. You have to understand, Jan took that punch and Jan was hurt. So now we have a fighter who was hurt, he got taken down, and now he's being choked. We might say, yes, it's quick, but this guy's down there hurt, trying to survive, There was no out. So I think that, even if he lasted a bit longer, that would have been the outcome. It wouldn't have been anything different. Glover fought the perfect fight to win that fight, and it was amazing to watch. I won't lie to you.
Glover fought the way Glover fights, right? That's the kind of fight he likes.
Well, he did even better because, I can't think of any other fight we've seen him come out and go straight for the takedown. And I think that definitely caught Jan off guard and stopped a lot out of him because he was controlled for the entire first round. He was on his back, and I didn't think he expected it, The second round, you could see he expected that they stayed on the feet for a little bit longer. But then again, Glover is a great freaking MMA fighter, He's not just a wrestler or a jiu-jitsu guy.
Right.
He has great boxing. He has amazing boxing. And, he showed it off. He used it, and he finished the fight, And that's what I loved about that fight, because he had Jan hurt. He had him rocked. And he didn't just go and start swinging for the fences to try to get a knockdown. Nope. Went for the takedown and got the submission. That was beautiful. He wasn't tired. He wasn't anything. He can fight again next month if he wants to.
Yeah. Orrin, your thoughts on that awesome main event that we saw yesterday and the new champ?
I think Father Time took one more hit to the chin, but Father Time isn't out yet. He'll come back and he'll beat Glover Teixeira. But for now, Glover has taken the round.
Oh, really? Come on, man. Well, it's hard to say because age is one of those things, Age, and it sucks because Glover has been in some wars and he's had some really bad losses and whatnot. But I can tell you, one of my favorite fighters I started watching UFC was Couture. And Randy won the belt at 43. He's the oldest champion. He beat Tim Sylvia. I don't know if you guys know who Tim Sylvia is. He was this big freaking fighter. And Randy came in and Randy won that belt. And he defended the belt, if I'm not mistaken, was twice before he lost. I think he lost it to it was Brock Lesnar, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And so you look at it and man, it's a matter of Glover fighting really smart now versus just fighting, and that tells a lot. I mean, honestly, he and Yuri fights, I'll pick Glover because Yuri's good and he has power, but Jan had power, and how do you take away that power? You put them on their back. That power is useless if you're down there. You're on your back. You're not gonna. The Polish power left that. He shipped it off back to the hotel room. No.
I'm ashamed to say that I picked against Glover. Well, not ashamed to say. I thought Jan had this fight. To be honest with you, I liked what I saw when he fought the style bender. Right, I liked what he saw. He controlled, but he was much smaller guy. Right, and he did great. On the ground, he did what Glover did to him. Right,
but you missed my point,
so
Dillon.
That's a reason.
Even Captain America, Randy Couture himself, lost eventually against Father Time. He got brutally KO'd in his fight against Lyoto Machida. So, you can beat Father Time around there too, but in the end, he'll get the decision.
Say that one again. I missed that last one that you just said.
I said, you can beat Father Time around there too, but in the end, Father Time will get the decision.
No, you said about Lyoto Machida?
Lyoto Machida,
yes,
he lost.
Front kicked him in the face, and that was his last fight. Correct?
No? Okay. I can't remember, to tell you the truth. That's why I had to ask you again. I didn't even realize they fought.
But guys, what I like about this story, right, is not just the story about Glover being, 32 years old and coming back. This tells me a lot of what MMA is about, right? A lot of times, we have this great success stories, the guys coming up young, winning the title, getting top contention and all that. But MMA, is unexpected. It's an unexpected sport. And you lose, you win, you come back again. And this is the story of Glover Teixeira, and how he won the UFC title. And what this is, I think he's going to be an inspiration for all the young guys coming out, for the guys that put it on the line. They lose, but they stay strong, they stay committed, and they come back and win that title again, right?
I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest with you. This is what I think Glover should look at and see. I think Glover should consider, if it's whoever it is, if it's Yuri next, whatever, fight him, and if he wins, I think he should retire. Because here's the thing: he would have beaten 4 of the 5 guys in the top 5 at that point, outside Alexander Rakic. And that guy doesn't do anything for me, to be honest with you. He doesn't spark any interest at all for me to want to see him fight. So honestly, if you beat Yuri, you don't have anything else to prove. You won the belt. You've beaten 4 of the 5 top 5 guys. There's nothing else really to prove. I mean, at the age you are, go out shining. Defend the belt though, because you're not a true champion until you defend your belt. That's why Conor is not a champion.
Yeah, I like that idea.
No. That's what I think. Because, like I said, it's pointless. I mean, what's the point of fighting someone you already fought already? I beat you already. I have the belt. I'm on top. Now, retire, get it out the way, and keep it fresh,
Yep. Final thoughts, guys. We're nearing the hour, and I just wanted to recap. It was a great card, UFC 267, and guess what? We have another one coming right out.
In 1 week time.
In 1 week time. So, final thoughts. Let me hear it.
Go ahead, Orrin.
I'll go first. My final thoughts were that it was mostly a night for favorites. I had picked 3 underdog guys to win. I had picked Sanhagen, I had picked Hooker, I had picked Lee, and all 3 of them lost, quite rather convincingly at that. And then the favorite that I picked on the main card, Blachowicz, he lost to the underdog Teixeira. So it was mostly a night for the favorites, and the one underdog in the main event, he made it happen.
So what you're saying is the Castillo curse is alive and well.
In full effect.
No, I mean, I enjoy when they go to Fight Island because we get to see talents from all over the world. My one issue when they fight in the US is a lot of times it's just the American fighters, and we have a lot of talented foreign fighters like we saw yesterday. There was one American on the main card, and that was Sanhagen, and that was the best fight of the night. So we had some amazing fights. We had amazing talents from all over the world. And I think that's one of the things I love, the fact that MMA is so global. It's international. It's all over. And, it gives us hope that one day we'll see a Belizean-born fighter in the UFC. And that's always one of the things that we want. And just seeing events like this, seeing what these guys from all over the place are doing, it gives us a lot of hope.
It will be Israel's son.
Yeah, I think so.
It could be, yeah.
Maybe Israel, we never know. It's not too late.
It won't be me, but it will be one of these kids coming up, and then it's our job to just guide them and lead them down that right path.
Come on, you're not 42 yet. You can still do this.
I can still do it. Yeah, I can still do it. All right, guys. That was the recap of UFC 267. This is the Don't Blink Jiu Jitsu podcast. I want to thank everybody who have liked and shared the new channel, guys. We have a new channel. We have nice artwork. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We'll have more content coming up. There are some Belizean guys that have gone to fight. Albert Morales also fought last night. So we'll be recapping that. We'll be recapping UFC 268. And we will have more interviews and more contents in the week to come. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking this channel. And hope to see you back.
Great.